Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and to the new viewers. This is the Gérann Gerber channel. I'm Gérann Gerber, your host, and today we're going to react to the video called Darth Bane, Path of Destruction. Now, before we start, I would encourage you to like and subscribe to my channel, my social media, and my Patreon. And let's get started. Enjoy.
Rusan, a world drowned in fog and fire, the final battleground of the new Sith Wars, where the armies of the Jedi and the Brotherhood of Darkness bled the last of their strength into the soil. Here, on these broken plains, the Force itself trembled. For this war was never about victory, but consequence. An age of armies was dying, and from its dying breath, the shadow of a single destiny began to stir. One lone figure watched across the ruins, not a warrior of Rusan, nor a master of the Force, but the whisper of a future the galaxy could not yet see. Yet our story does not begin on Rusan, not in the fog of its final war, but long before, on a world of iron, fire, and suffering.
Darth Bane, Path of Destruction.
Apatros, a mining planet carved hollow by greed, where the air tastes of metal and the sky is stained with the smoke of 1,000 machines. Where men labor until their bodies break, and dreams are crushed beneath the weight of stone. Here, deep within the tunnels, works a young miner named Dessel, beaten by life, shaped by hardship, stronger than any man around him, and angrier than all of them combined. He does not yet know the Force. He does not yet know his destiny, but the darkness already knows him. From these mines, from this suffering, will rise the one who will shatter the old Sith, rewrite their creed, and reshape the galaxy for 1,000 years.
He's huge.
This is where the path begins, a path of destruction. In the choking heat of the tunnels, he carried the burdens of a life shaped by cruelty, by debt, by violence, and by a father whose shadow lingered long after the man was gone. Every glare from a foreman, every whispered insult from the other miners, every malfunctioning machine pushing toward disaster. All of it fed something deep within him. Something waiting for release.
Yeah.
When the shift ended, the mines did not let him go. The settlement above was built from the same rusted metal and weary faces. A place where men drowned their anger in cheap drink and rigged sabacc tables. But even here, Dessel's presence drew attention. Resentment from the miners. Suspicion from the soldiers stationed far from the front. At the cantina table, under the flickering glow of sabak tiles, whispers turned to accusations. Tension cracked like a pressure valve, and in an instant, the quiet fury he carried erupted. When the dust settled, 2 Republic soldiers lay humiliated on the floor, one glaring upward with a promise of vengeance. That single look, that single threat, was enough to change the course of a lifetime. Dessel knew Apatros would no longer be his prison or his home. Within months, constant exposure to cortosis radiation began to change Dessel. His body hardened, and his hair fell away until he was completely bald. When the Sith recruiters arrived, he didn't hesitate. For the first time in his life, he stepped toward a destiny that felt like his own. Enlistment into the Sith army offered no promises, only escape. Escape from the pits, from the debts, from the life that had tried to crush him. The moment he entered the war camp and saw the Gloomwalkers assembling beneath crimson field lamps, he felt something he hadn't known before. Purpose. These were not miners or thugs. They were hardened soldiers, silent, disciplined, efficient, forged in the crucible of the new Sith Wars. And as they turned toward him, evaluating the new recruit, who looked more like a living weapon than a man, Dessel sensed a shift deep within the Force itself. His past was ending. His legend had begun.
Get in the trench, soldier! The war won't wait for you!
Wow, he looks awesome. A first-person shooter.
Moonwalkers, forward! In the trench, keep your heads down!
Fantastic battle.
That's him, the miner from Apatros. Commander likes him. He says he doesn't hesitate.
You saw how he moved in the trench, like he's been fighting his all life.
Ravine again. Why is it always ravines? And I can't see a thing.
Good. Maybe the enemy can't see how miserable we are. What now? Are you stupid or what?
I thought I saw something.
It's an ambush! Take cover!
Yo. Almost like World War II, but with Star Wars.
Jessel, how the hell did he get up there?
Doesn't matter. He's up there. You're alive. End of story.
And so, for the second time, Dessel saved the Gloomwalkers. His choices kept them alive. His clarity cut through panic. As the squad made the long march back toward the forward camp, the men knew who deserved the credit. They whispered it in the fog, exchanged glances in the dark, walked in tight formation behind the man who had dragged them through death twice in a single night. But Command saw something different. Where Dessel had shown strength, they saw threat. Where he had proven instinct, they saw insubordination. By the time he returned to the red-lit tents of the outpost, reports were already being rewritten. Victories attributed upward, decisions reassigned, mistakes concealed beneath the names of men with rank. Yet in the darkness of that trench-lined world, something had shifted. The squad followed him now, not the officers, and the Force had begun to take notice.
We end this push here. All batteries. Open fire!
Open fire!
Open fire!
Yo.
Get out of here! Move, move! Command! Overheat! Slow down! They stopped!
It's freaking cold out here.
Cold? Well, be grateful the artillery didn't drop any closer. Warm enough for you then?
Command says the artillery did its job. Trenches are gone. No reinforcements for them.
Then they're close. Keep your visor scanners up. This fog hides anything.
Scans showing movement. Must be the ones cut off when the artillery hit the trench.
Command screwed us. We're alone out here, and they're close. I can feel it. Keep low and keep moving. And turn on your visors. If they're close, we need to see each other before they see us.
They are here! Fire at will!
5, they're close.
I don't like this. Feels wrong. Now! Clear! Clear!
Clear!
Clear. Let's move.
The Brotherhood pushed its armies into the trenches, where survival was secondary to obedience, and Dessel was sent forward with the Gloomwalkers to hold a line already doomed by poor command. As artillery tore the ridges apart and formations collapsed, he recognized a fatal error in the orders being issued, but his warnings were dismissed, buried beneath rank and protocol. When the bombardment shifted and the encirclement closed, the squad was cut off and abandoned, written off as acceptable losses. With command silent, Dessel acted, guiding them through forest and fog, eliminating enemy scouts without sound, crossing flooded craters where every step risked discovery, until the squad broke free, not by chance, but by discipline and instinctive leadership. No authority was declared, yet the men followed him without hesitation. The truth of what occurred was later erased, reshaped by officers who valued order over reality, while command approved the outcome without question. Still, unseen eyes had taken notice. Dessel was removed from the front without ceremony, separated from the soldiers he had saved, and carried away from the battlefield as war continued below. Alone in transit, the chaos of the front reduced to distant light. He arrived over Korriban, an ancient, barren world that did not reward obedience, but tested what a man was willing to become. Korriban did not welcome those who arrived upon it. It received them in silence, a tomb world of dust and stone where history pressed down with unrelenting weight. The Academy rose from the canyon walls like a wound carved into the planet itself, ancient and indifferent. Its gates closing behind the initiates without ceremony or return. Names were taken, replaced by numbers, and identity was reduced to something measurable and expendable.
Dessel, number 281.
The trials began without explanation. Heat, hunger, and dust stripping weakness from the body, until endurance alone determined who remained standing. The first death passed without acknowledgement, and the lesson was clear. Mercy had no place here. Cruelty, when useful, was rewarded, and rivalry was allowed to grow unchecked as strength eclipsed skill, and the weak were removed without pause. Doctrine followed suffering, teaching unity as virtue, while quietly nurturing division, shaping hatred into discipline, and fear into instruction. In the darkness of the tombs, whispers stirred, echoes of ancient will, probing those who listened too closely. Where others faltered, Dessel remained still, sensing the presence without yielding to it, neither reaching nor recoiling. And in that restraint, in that silence that answered the tombs, the instructors began to watch him, not with praise, but with calculation. Because on Korriban, those who endure unnoticed are common, but those who remain unchanged are never ignored.
Yo. Fantastic sword fighting.
Blades met without restraint. Duels dissolved into sanctioned violence, and injuries were left to fester as proof of survival. Betrayal was not punished but encouraged, ambush rewarded, cruelty refined into currency. Among them, Dessel fought without rage, his violence measured, controlled, ending when purpose was achieved. That restraint did not go unnoticed. It unsettled those who watched, for it revealed a difference the Brotherhood could not easily name. Then the Academy sent them below, into the tombs where the old Sith still lingered, not as ghosts, but as weight and memory. Relics lay embedded in stone and bone, lessons carved into what remained of those who failed. The air itself pressed inward. Some broke without a blow ever struck. Others fled their own thoughts. Dessel endured, moving through the presence unchanged, acknowledged not by whispers but by silence. He stood before a sealed threshold that should not open, and did not reach for it, yet it knew he was there. When they returned, fewer than before, no praise followed. The Brotherhood assessed in silence, dismissing power that displayed itself and intelligence that questioned authority. Dessel was neither rewarded nor corrected. He was simply watched. And as doctrine continued to be preached, its contradictions became impossible to ignore. Unity breeding weakness, numbers masking fragility, order maintained through fear rather than truth. High above the Academy, Khan's shadow stretched across the yard, arranging Sith as one would arrange tools, believing strength multiplied by many could replace strength refined by one. But among the mass, one figure remained apart, not defiant, not loyal, simply incompatible. Dessel did not belong to the order being built around him, and Korriban itself seemed to recognize it. The Brotherhood taught through repetition, the same drills, the same failures. Strength was praised, then discarded. Numbers were gathered, not refined, and each victory was declared before its cost was understood. Dessel watched initiates rise, only to be replaced, watched errors repeat without correction, watched power treated as something to be spent rather than preserved. The Brotherhood did not seek mastery. It sought volume, and volume diluted what the dark side demanded. Drawn away from the noise of doctrine, Dessel returned to the tombs, not to find answers, but to confirm what the living refused to see. The ancients did not beg the dark side to listen. They carved their will into eternity, and let time judge the result. In fractured glyphs and forgotten halls, Dessel saw the truth hidden beneath centuries of decay. Power was not shared. It was focused, not divided, but passed. Not preserved through unity, but through succession. When the monoliths rose, one towering, one lesser, the meaning required no words. Strength endured only when it stood alone, refined by conflict, protected by limitation. Many had failed together. One had survived to shape what followed. In that moment, Dessel understood. The Brotherhood was not the future of the Sith. It was the final weakness of the past. And beyond its failure lay a rule older than doctrine. One that would ensure the dark side would never again be squandered by the many. The Academy trained endlessly, yet never asked what it was shaping. Power was measured, repeated, multiplied, but never understood. Teachings overlapped and contradicted one another, drowning purpose beneath doctrine. The ancient Sith had forged strength through singular will, yet the modern Brotherhood feared that truth, sealing it away as dangerous history. Dessel saw the cost of speaking too soon. Those who questioned were broken, corrected, erased. Silence became survival, not submission, but calculation. Above him, Lord Khan's confidence hardened into certainty. Authority centralized, yet strength thinned as lords competed, not for mastery, but for favor. Unity decayed into politics, and politics into quiet betrayal. Sith turned on Sith without open war, and the Brotherhood mistook motion for stability. Dessel watched the pattern complete itself, long before it collapsed. When the ancient name Sithari resurfaced, it was misunderstood, treated as a banner to rally the many, rather than a warning meant for one. Dessel rejected the collective not in defiance, but in clarity. Strength could not be shared without being weakened. Power demanded limitation, succession, exclusion. The many would always fail because the dark side does not reward equality. It rewards survival. Dessel was no longer a soldier. He carried no banners, sought no command, and claimed no followers. The Brotherhood's greatest error was not arrogance, but blindness. Lord Khan, confident in unity and numbers, did not see what stood before him. And when the path finally divided, Dessel did not hesitate. He chose separation without rebellion, isolation without exile. War soon became inevitable. The Brotherhood moved with certainty, convinced that Ruusan would bring final victory. Preparations filled the Academy halls, rituals of strength repeated until belief replaced understanding. As Ruusan's shadow stretched across the stars, the Sith stood united one last time, confident that their numbers made them eternal. They marched toward extinction, and in the stillness they left behind, the true Sith legacy began. Not in armies, not in conquest, but in the understanding that power must be singular, preserved, and endured.
So that was Darth Bane, Path of Destruction. I really enjoyed it. I love exploring origin stories of any type of characters, whether it be Star Wars, Superman, Batman, the Hulk, Spider-Man, Iron Man, you name it, I love it. Since the past up to today, I didn't know anything about Darth Bane's backstory, but it was interesting to learn that his name was Dessel and he was born on the outer rim of the planet Apatros. He also worked in the mine and joined the Gloomwalker soldiers, and he also later joined the Sith Brotherhood of Darkness and also creating the Rule of Two. I love the battle sequences, and the introduction was also fantastic. That being said, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, please subscribe to my channel, my social media and my Patreon. And a word of wisdom for today: the future is in front of you. Take it one step at a time. Have a blessed day further, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.